It is now very clear that the outbreak of Ebola is being hidden. The extent of the outbreak to other countries is not being spoken of, and it's also being hidden. But also there is some misinformation out there that I would like to discuss. Currently there are reports out that there are immigrants, migrants in Mexico that have Ebola. I've seen a few people put this out on YouTube, and they are referencing an article from El Globe, I guess it's supposed to say. It's in Spanish. The problem is they are not translating it correctly. So that's not exactly what's going on. I don't fault them. They just are reporting it incorrectly, which could cause people to panic. And I already see that on Twitter. People are saying shut down the border and things like that, which I think there needs to be a travel ban in effect. But let's go over that article. So if you read it as an English speaking person, then it does look like it is saying that there are migrants coming from Central America testing positive for syphilis, varicella, influenza, and Ebola. But due to how they translate their verbs and whatnot, what it's actually saying is that they have them testing positive for influenza, measles, a few things that have already been eradicated from the country, which is what we're seeing here also. It then goes on to say that they are on global alert due to the Ebola outbreak in the Dominican Republic of the Congo. So the title kind of makes it look like they are testing positive for all of these things, when in case they are not. Could they be? Possibly. It is possible. If we even look at the global incident map, yesterday was a record-setting day for, it says, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ebola outbreak in the Congo hits record for confirmed cases in a single day. That is proof that it is not being contained, that the vaccines are not working, the treatments aren't working, and that it is spreading. And as I reported the other day, 80% of people don't know who they came in contact with in order to contract this. And I was going through the flight logs and things like that to see how many people come from Africa, or even just that area, daily. You can book a flight there today. I couldn't find an actual count, but there are direct flights from the Democratic Republic of the Congo to France all day long. And then they fly into New York or Georgia and places like that. Also, the CDC is saying that it's not airborne, which I have a little bit of issues with, as to if these people don't know who they are contracting this from and they can't pinpoint it to a person, then it seems like there is a possibility of it being at least short-term airborne. Because even with the last outbreak, there was a cameraman that was that contracted it, and all of these healthcare workers have contracted it. They are dressed in biohazard suits the entire time. They are very careful, but yet they are also telling us that it's not easily contracted unless you actually touch bodily fluids. Well, if it wasn't easily contracted, I'm not sure how these healthcare workers and a cameraman would get infected. All I'm saying is, don't panic, but you need to be on alert. Especially having certain states actually doing emergency Ebola training, which I'm very supportive of. The thing is, I find it highly suspicious that when you actually, there's a website that shows all of the training for Ebola. It's called National Ebola Training and Education Center. And they put out all of the simulation training and all of these things months in advance so that other people can sign up for these trainings if they want to be involved, and also to let the public know that, hey, we're going to have some people running around in biohazard suits. Don't be alarmed, it's just a drill. But in this case the other day with Missouri, that didn't happen. It wasn't reported until after the training had been concluded. And from the looks of it, it was as if somebody asked what was going on, and then they got the story of, oh, it was just a training drill. There was a woman on YouTube that is from Springfield, Missouri, and she stated the same thing. She said that she hadn't heard anything about it. And I went to both hospitals that were doing this training. I went to the websites of both of the hospitals that were supposedly doing this emergency statewide training, and there was no information about this. Not an alert. There was nothing about it until after it occurred, and even on their websites it's not on there. The training was supposedly from 9 a.m. to 11, and the first article about it wasn't put out until 11:22. It's just very interesting, especially when you take into consideration that there was a flight out of that same area with a Cessna 5, and the pilot he lost communication of some sorts. They scrambled F-15s, and then the pilot ditched his plane in the Atlantic Ocean. Absolutely no, just straight down. Look, I'm going to show you the tracker. It might be a little bit hard to see on this one. This is the best I could get. But if you see right in the middle, it just drops straight down. That's pretty strange. Why would a pilot ditch his plane like that? Another thing is, and I could be wrong, but I've looked everywhere, and in almost every case you can find the transcripts of what the pilots were saying and things like that, or you'll get at least a transcript. Maybe you won't actually hear it, but in this case I cannot find anything about them speaking about that. I can't find the actual transcripts. So my question is, were they ever in contact with this pilot? Was it being remotely flown? What was on the plane? for them to just ditch the plane way out into the Atlantic, way past it might be a stretch, but coming from this same exact area that they also had the only statewide emergency Ebola training. The only one. I think it would be amazing if every state had that training. We need it. But that's not what's going on. There's something more to this. It seems that people aren't actually taking this very seriously. Not that I want anyone to panic. Do not panic. That is the worst thing to do. But from what I'm seeing, people are putting out the wrong information. There was even a video from a nurse. She did a video and it got over 100-something thousand views. And the way she framed the video, she made it to where the only reason that Ebola is affecting the people in the Congo is because of their way of life. Because of, how did she put it? Like they were cave people and that all of these things. And that they all eat bushmeat. That's not correct. Some may eat bushmeat, yes. The thing that we need to worry about is coming into contact. We touch things all day long. We swim in public swimming pools. We touch things, baskets at Walmart. People are changing their babies' diapers in grocery carts. Money. Oh my gosh, money is so dirty. There are all of these things that we touch every day. You know, the only reason that so many people died of the plague was because it traveled on the fleas of the mice. If they weren't traveling, there wouldn't have been such a pandemic. And what do we do every day? If anything, I would say the people in the Congo, or those people around there, would be less likely to spread wide, because they're not in cars and traveling. I mean, we could go halfway across the country in a day in our cars. People do it every day. 18-wheeler drivers, we're all traveling. Most people, it takes them 30 minutes to get to work, so they're traveling so many miles, touching so many things, coming in contact with so many people. And as we all know, history repeats itself. The biggest problem, like I said, is the travel, but the only way to stop it is to isolate the problem, quarantine the problem. We're not able to do that because we can't pinpoint it. There is no ban on travel, so people can go in and out, sit in the plane seat, and then that plane will go from here to there. There have been people that have had Ebola for a year and didn't know about it and got other people infected. It's not like the hot zone where people just break out and within 48 hours they're dead. If that were the case, the concern wouldn't be there because the disease would burn itself out, so to speak. Okay? It wouldn't stay there long enough for other people to get infected. Sure, people would be infected, but not enough. It would burn itself out. Let's just leave it at that. And so the biggest concern is our big cities and the travel. I'm not saying they're the only ones that need to worry about it. I'm saying because the people, we have multiple factors, far more than what the people in the Congo have. And so it was kind of disappointing to see a nurse do a video saying that the only reason that Ebola is there is because of their lifestyle. Because this is transmitted through every single bodily fluid. Spit, breast milk, semen, every single one. And that is the biggest issue. We come in contact with so many people. I'm going to do a video tomorrow and list some things, more things that you can actually do to help protect yourself and your children from this. Because honestly, I have zero doubt that this is in the United States right now. I have zero doubt. Alright guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe so we can get this information out to other people. Because this is a big deal. And again, I don't want anybody to be panicked. Just be diligent. Like I said in my other video, situational awareness. Okay? Don't stick your head in the sand. Y'all have a wonderful day.